The path into the mountains is steep, stony, and spectacular, like the island itself. Socotra is regarded as one of the most beautiful islands in the world. The Slovak visitors are on their way to a cave. Few tourists come here. The island is part of Yemen, so it's not so surprising. But the civil war that has raged for years on the mainland is far away. The United Arab Emirates launched the first direct flights here in 2021. It's a 2-hour flight. Socotra lies directly off the Horn of Africa, about 400 kilometers from the Yemeni mainland.
Peter, our guide, he's having a travel agency and he's doing some podcasts about traveling. So he and his co-worker talk about Socotra, and when they prepared this trip, I decided that I really want to go because it's so strange destination, and because of the war in Yemen, it's very the chance that you will come here again later, it's very, very low. Or if the situation will be better and more tourists will come, the country will definitely change. So to see it at this moment, it's really amazing.
Socotra is really far away from almost everything. While war is raging in Yemen, the island is a peaceful haven, a safe place to go on vacation. Caves are not something completely new for the Slovak tourists. Slovakia has many of them, but the visitors are, nevertheless, deeply impressed.
It's the biggest cave I've ever seen. It's really impressive, beautiful. All the stalagmites and stalagmites. Honestly, very, very impressive.
Hock Cave is 2.5 kilometers long. The many stalagmites and stalactites are not just beautiful, they are of great scientific interest. They are an index for climate change.
Of course, it's even better as on the pictures we imagined before coming here.
The drivers, the guides and the cooks are very happy that tourists have returned to the island. For many years, Socotra was practically cut off from the rest of the world because of the war in Yemen.
We are proud that tourists are coming here again and that we have work. We hope that more tour groups will come, a lot more.
Surprisingly, nature conservationist Ahmed Adib agrees. It is okay, he says, as long as the tourists camp outdoors. That minimizes their ecological footprint. What he doesn't agree with are the holiday homes that the Emiratis are building in the middle of protected areas. For example, here by the coast close to the capital, Hadibu. He sees this as fraudulent on 2 accounts.
Yemeni law dictates that you cannot build within 300 meters of the coast, and foreigners are not permitted to buy land. The buyer is from here originally, but he has Emirati citizenship. He used his brother to get around that.
And that is just one example. Ahmed Adib says that the purchasers all follow the same pattern. There is a lot of demand for real estate by the sea. Here, an entire vacation complex is springing up. The faces of Emirati rulers are depicted at the entrance. The real estate investors do not attempt to hide what they're doing.
The people who are building here come from abroad. They are Emiratis or Socotris with Emirati citizenship. There are also Kuwaitis. They buy via middlemen. These people have all bought land through local inhabitants.
The environmental activist is worried that the island is being bought out. He's particularly concerned by the growth of Saudi Arabia's influence in recent years. Hadibu is the capital of the main island, Socotra, and the rest of the archipelago. Here you can see how the UAE and Saudi Arabia are vying for influence, fighting to become the dominant power with displays of generosity. The Emirates pay the salaries of the municipal officials, while Saudi Arabia builds one school after the other, all of them identical. This power game is even more apparent on the coast outside Hadibu. On the right, a Yemeni school funded by Abu Dhabi's Khalifa Foundation, and directly opposite on the left, Saudi Arabia has also built a new school. At this roadside checkpoint, there are 3 Emirati flags and only 1 Yemeni flag. The power relations are quite evident. In the foothills of the Hajir Mountains, which reach 1,500 meters at their highest point, Ahmed Adib runs a nursery. Here, the environmental activist tries to care for the island's natural heritage. His son and his sister help him. But it's a Herculean task. Unique endemic species, plants that are native only here, are endangered.
Since the 1990s, there's been a drop in rainfall. The climate here has changed. This should be the rainy season. September is over, October is drawing to a close, but no rain has come.
The family don't receive any financial support for their endeavors, and they are unlikely to get any. In times of war, nature is not seen as a priority. Save for his relatives, the conservationist is alone in his struggle to save the island's iconic dragon's blood tree.
This is the dragon's blood tree. In the Socotri language, we call it the tree of the blood of the 2 brothers. Here we have planted 7,000 dragon's blood trees. So the saplings can be planted out in Dixam region and reproduce.
Socotra's fine sandy beaches have a Caribbean flair. The white sands are a magnet for tourists. Islanders say if you haven't been to Calencia, you haven't seen Socotra. For people here, the sea with its plentiful fish stocks is the most important source of nutrition. The island's 80,000 inhabitants fish to meet their own needs. International fishing fleets don't come here. Not yet, at least. Many fishing boats bear the inscription, "The Saudi Development and Reconstruction Program for Yemen." More proof of how the rich neighboring states are trying to win influence. Fishing is closely bound up with local identity. Instead of playing with toy cars, children here play with homemade toy boats. The fishers take turn putting out to sea. 2 boats go out for 2 hours and then they rotate. The idea, everyone should equally benefit from the sea's riches. Fishers Soliman and Mohammed are going fishing. Halfway to the fishing grounds, they come across Mazen Salah. He has set out without his father. Mohammed isn't surprised. The boy is known throughout the village.
I like working on the sea. I like catching fish. I live here. I live in the sea.
The boy is taking a big risk. The waters here are treacherous.
One boat has already sunk here. Some even died. We were able to save others.
Soliman needs just a few minutes to catch the first fish. There is still enough to go round, even if Soliman now faces more competition.
The Saudis have brought us boats. Anyone who didn't have a boat got one from them. The Emiratis helped us too. They brought us electricity, water, natural gas and gasoline. And anyone who is sick gets flown to the United Arab Emirates. I love them both, but especially the Emiratis because they work with us most.
Life is changing on Socotra. Some people are worried about these new forms of dependency, but no one is willing to speak openly about it. For the last few days, the sea has been stormy and the fishers were unable to put out to sea. Within seconds, his catch is snapped up.
It's gone in a flash. People take it out of my hands. We fish, they buy.
Far away from the beaches, up in the mountains, you can find Socotra's iconic dragon's blood trees.
Мне осталось 1 жизнь бориться этого болезнью.
Here, the tree stands in the middle of a nameless village. The houses are in good condition. Above them flies the flag of the United Arab Emirates. The village elder, Saad Mohammed, is fine with that.
The Emiratis build the houses. We thank them for these houses, and we thank them too for the medical care. You thank people who do good. If you didn't, it would be an act of ingratitude to God.
Life has improved, says Saad Mohammed.
We used to live here with the sheep and the cows. We sat and slaughtered our animals here. We did everything here.
No wonder that the UAE has won the hearts of the locals by donating these homes. Ahmed Adib is meeting friend and fellow activist Mohammed El Kabani. The herder sees a colleague far off, but he doesn't reach for a phone.
The goats are very far away. They're on the other side of the valley. The goats are very, very far away.
Let's have lunch and then go looking.
No, we don't have time. We're in a hurry.
Send my greetings.
Mohammed El Kabani calls his 60 goats and 10 cows with particular sounds. Other herders have their own specific calls. The animals would get mixed up otherwise. Here, on this plateau, there are practically no dragon's blood trees left anymore. It used to look quite different.
Our grandfathers told us that there was an entire forest of dragon's blood trees here. But that is gone. They have died off. Now there's just one tree here, the other there. There are just a few dotted about. They're in danger of extinction. Scientists have told us that it's due to climate change. There always used to be rain here, and there were no goats. Rain at all times of the year.
The goats are a problem in Socotra. They eat the young dragon's blood trees, causing them to die off. Only the older ones survive because their leaves are beyond the goats' reach. People here say the trees can live for 1,000 years. In April or May, the harvest starts. The red resin from the trunks of the dragon's blood tree is used to produce cosmetics. The resin is used in nail polish and lipstick. Reforestation is urgently needed. The dragon's blood tree is in danger of going extinct. Activist Ahmed Adib could use help, above all money, to help protect the trees. But he doesn't expect that from the UAE.
Emiratis aren't up on this subject. We need specialists. Business people aren't like scientists, and Emiratis are business people.
business.
Mohammed El Kabani knows that he and his goats are part of the problem. That's why the herder is trying to grow dragon's blood trees with his son Ismail.
The goats are like chain smokers. They're addicted to the tree. We built a wall to keep them out, but they just jump onto it and come inside and eat the plants.
In the future, Ismail won't be tending the trees anymore. He has received a stipend from the UAE. He's going to study computer science in the Egyptian city of Alexandria. His view of the Emirates' involvement here is widely shared.
Before the Emiratis came here, Socotra was a forgotten island. 5 years have passed, and we're now in a quite different position. We can study abroad. We couldn't before. And now we have electricity. Things are developing. There are roads and hospitals.
Tanuf Salim Nu is the expert on the island's medicinal plants. He is also worried about the endangered species. In global comparison, Socotra is recognized as being particularly rich in biodiversity, also in terms of medicinal plants. Many are endemic to the archipelago, like Euphorbia arbuscula, for example. He is harvesting its valuable sap to create a medicine for digestive problems.
A knife would cut the arteries of the tree and create a problem, but a stone only creates a tiny wound. That enables me to treat the tree sparingly for the sake of myself and others, and to protect nature.
This is another popular plant. The healer says that it can even help couples to have children.
This plant remedies infertility in men and women. When men don't have enough sperm or their sperm are too weak, and when women have a problem with their ovaries or hormones, this plant is very effective. A Saudi Emirati company offered me 63% of the profits, with the rest for them. But they wanted the patent rights too. I turned them down.
A pharmaceutical company from the Gulf clearly has Socotra in its sights. Activist Ahmed Adib is accompanying his son Asa to a soccer match in the island's youth league. The 17-year-old is the coach of the Tigers. Both players and audience are male. Girls and women are not welcome. Society here is conservative. The pitch is typical for the island, stony and dusty. For many boys here, soccer is all they have in terms of free time or entertainment. Socotra is still disconnected from the world at large.
The internet here isn't good, not like in other countries. But some people here are still just as addicted as people abroad.
The internet, when it is working, is so bad that they can't even watch a soccer match on YouTube. It's no wonder that even a youth league game is a highlight of the week.
The island doesn't have some things, or those things are only basic, like internet and a telephone network. There are places that don't have any internet. It's different in the capital than in neighbouring villages and remote places. That's why the teenagers play sports. You can only find internet in the capital. Here we don't have any, so they play sports or hang out together.
Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are investing in the island, but not in its internet infrastructure. It is almost impossible for young people to get access to information or to communicate via social media. Is that an oversight on the part of the Gulf states, or intentional? Ahmed Adib believes the Gulf states are acting out of strategic interests. The activist has arranged to meet up with his son Asa to eat on the beach. He says Abu Dhabi and Riyadh both want to consolidate their influence in the waters off East Africa. He's under no illusions. He knows he must pursue his projects himself, yet he sees no alternative to the current situation. Past and present governments in Yemen have done almost nothing in comparison.
We are isolated from the rest of the world. But thank God the UAE came to Socotra in 2016. We didn't have a government, and God sent us the Emiratis. First of all, they built a hospital and helped people here. My son was sick. Something was wrong with his heart. He couldn't get up in the morning. So they took him to the Emirates and cured him. Thank God. If the Emiratis hadn't come here, we would have been worse off than the Somalis, for example. No one can deny that things are better now.
Above all, it's quiet here, says the environmentalist. The war is far away, and that's what matters most.